What's the single most important factor for building muscle? Is it volume, intensity, rest times, technique? No, none of those. It's actually just a pen and a notebook. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, let me explain. You see, it's not exactly the pen or the paper that'll make you the gains, but it's the act of tracking. Tracking your workouts ensures that all those other training variables go in the right direction, and hence, you'll be better at building muscle. Without tracking, you're just guessing, and guessing isn't a good plan for building muscle. Anyways, in this video, I'm going to explain why tracking workouts skyrocketed my muscle growth and why it can do the same for you. To understand why tracking our workouts is so valuable and why it can skyrocket our gains, we first need to understand why our muscles grow in the first place. Our muscles grow because they cannot fulfill the demand we place upon them. For example, if I'm working out and let's say I take like a 30-pound dumbbell and I'm doing it for doing bicep curls, let's say I do 10 reps and I try an 11th but I fail. The body and the bicep recognizes that the muscle was not strong enough to do an 11th rep right now. So while I'm recovering, the body will try and come back stronger. And hopefully, if I'm able to do that successfully, probably the next time I work out, and I'm trying the same 30 pounds for reps, I should hopefully be able to get that 11th rep. So that is the basic concept of progressive overload. We work out in the gym, we work out hard, we take ourselves very close to our limit, and our body recognizes, okay, we got a stimulus, and with this stimulus, we should grow because clearly this person wants to lift more and more weight. So the body recognizes that it needs to come back stronger. Hopefully next time we do come back stronger, and that is what we call progressive overload. Progressive overload is simply just getting stronger workout after workout and being able to do either more reps of the same weight or lift more weight in general. So it's just really a somewhat complex sounding term for just getting stronger. So you might be wondering how in any way this explanation of progressive overload and why our muscles grow has anything to do with tracking your workouts on a pen and paper or on your phone. Well, the reason is because progressive overload is coming back stronger and stronger, right? But if you're not tracking your workouts in some way, how can you actually ever really know if you are getting stronger long term? You can't. Most gym goers are just shooting in the dark. They keep no record, or they try and keep some kind of record in their head, but it's too much to remember, and they're not actually able to remember anything of use. So they're just going in blind. They go into the gym, they just kind of go through the motions, they do what feels good, but they never actually have a record to know whether they are actually progressive overloading long term or not. Personally, I used to work out like this until about 2021, and when I was a newbie, and I made decent gains for like maybe the first year, but then there were like 2 or 3 years where I really wasn't making any gains at all. And it was for this reason. I was just going through the motions. I had no plan, no record, no idea of what I was really doing. You can't just go into the gym and wing it. Maybe you can when you're a beginner because, any stimulus at this point is better than no stimulus, which you were giving before. But once you're somewhat into this 6 months, a year, 2 years tops, you need to have a little bit more of an analytical approach, and you need to put some more effort into the gym. In 2021, I started keeping a training log, and this is what really propelled my muscle growth because it gave me a record that I was accountable to, and it gave me a record where I could consciously come into the gym and try and improve upon my performances from the last week. For example, in the prior years, if I was doing, let's say, bicep curls and I did 20 pounds for 10 reps, right? The next week I come into the gym, having that written down somewhere, it gave me a conscious reminder that, okay, last week I did 10 reps. This week, I should try and do 11 reps on that first set because I'm trying to undergo progressive overload. And if I'm successful in doing that, that's a pretty good sign that I'm building muscle. And if long term, every week after week, I'm just doing the same 20-pound dumbbell curl for 10 pounds, well, I'm not progressively overloading, right? So something must be wrong there. I'm not building muscle. So keeping a training log helps you to understand if you are building muscle. If long term your numbers are going up, you can be pretty confident that you're building muscle. If long term your numbers are staying the same or even going down, that's again a pretty good sign that you're not building muscle because you're not undergoing progressive overload, and something is most likely wrong there and you need to diagnose what that is. This is why I say that tracking your workouts really leads all of your other training variables in the right direction. It's because your training log is really just a mathematical representation of your gains. Let's say if in the long term your logbook is stagnant, you're not making any progress, or you're even regressing. You know that something is wrong and you need to diagnose that. So it could be maybe you're not sleeping enough, or maybe your rest times are too short. You're not giving your body enough time to recover between sets. It could be your diet. It could be a multitude of reasons, but again, you need to diagnose that. And having that knowledge that you're not progressively overloading because you're tracking your workouts in some kind of either like a notebook, like a physical logbook, or just the notes app on your phone, it gives you the knowledge to be able to understand, okay, I must be doing something wrong. Now you can think, okay, what am I doing wrong? On the contrary, it can show habits that are good for your muscle growth. For example, let's say you try a new diet for a few weeks and you realize that from your logbook that you're adding reps and weights to your sets faster than you were before. Well, maybe this diet is a good thing. Maybe I'm doing something right. Maybe you've been sleeping more and you're seeing that, okay, this is actually benefiting my strength in the gym, so it's benefiting my training. Again, this is something that I should keep up with. Really, it's just the whole point of me emphasizing that you need to be tracking your workouts really is just that it's information, it's data upon which you can diagnose and understand what things am I doing wrong, what things am I doing right. Again, you need to take a little bit of a more of an analytical approach to building muscle if you really want to build your dream physique. So where should you keep this logbook? Well, when I first started doing this, I was working out from home for reasons you could probably think of. So I was just doing it in a notebook with a pencil on the notebook, right? But nowadays, since I go to the gym, I think it's much more convenient to just do it on the notes app of my phone. Really, you can do it anywhere as long as you can easily refer back to it. You just need to keep a record somewhere. Don't overthink it, and you don't have to write much. All you have to write is, all I do is I'll put the name of the exercise, then I'll write the first number I'll write will usually be the weight of what I'm doing. So let's say, for example, I write pull up, then I do 25 I'm doing 25 extra pounds, and then beyond that, I'll have maybe it'll be 10,8. What that means is on the first set, I did 10 reps. On the second set, I did 8 reps. Okay, that's pretty much all you need to do per exercise. It costs you pretty much no time to maintain this record and keep this record, but the fruits it can bear are worth it. Again, with this data that you're keeping track of, again, let's say with that example, the pull up 25, 10, and 8. Okay, next week when I go to the gym, I would do the same thing, pull up 25, but then this time I'm going to look at what I did last week and I'll see that it was 10 and 8. Okay, I'm going to try for 11 on the first set, and then I'll try to maintain 8 on that next set. Again, so overall, I still increased by 1 rep. 1 rep might seem like, oh, it's just 1 rep, what's the big deal? But, this is 1 rep in a few days or a week, That really, really compounds. What if you add 1 rep a week for a whole year? That's 52 extra reps of, let's say, 25 pounds weighted pull-ups that I'm doing. That is an insane improvement over the span of a year, and that's really all that muscle growth is about. It's about those small plus ones on a workout per workout basis that really just think of it like the snowball tumbling down the hill, right? It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as those plus ones keep accumulating, and hopefully you keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's really it. There isn't much more to say. Again, to summarize, I think you really need to start tracking your workouts. It's a very easy thing to do. It costs you basically nothing, very little amount of time to just write down the weight and reps you did on each exercise, but the fruits it can bear are going to be plentiful. It can really be the difference between building muscle long-term or not building muscle long-term. Because again, it's really just, do you want to be shooting in the dark and guessing, or do you want to have an actual target and have actual data, have an analytical approach and be able to tell, okay, I'm doing certain things wrong, or okay, I'm doing certain things right. I need to keep up those correct things that I'm doing. And in the instance where I am doing something wrong, I need to find out what that is and I need to change that behavior. It's really just, if you're gonna watch this video and you're not gonna start tracking your workouts even just in the notes app of your phone, it really just shows me that you're not serious about building muscle. And I mean, that's okay, but if you're not. But if you do want to build your dream physique, then I would say that this is basically a non-negotiable. You have to track your workouts. Anyways, that's all. I hope you found this video informative and interesting. And if you did, I'd suggest visiting the link in my description. There you can find my ebook where I talk about a lot more of these topics that pertain to training, but also diet and recovery as well. Overall, it's a 65,000 word book to help you build your dream physique and help you live a healthier life. I also have a coupon code, first 5, I'll put it up on the screen here too. For the first person who buys the book, you can get it for just $5, but there's only one of the codes, so you gotta act fast. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.